Maddie here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming back to you guys with another book look review. I'm so excited. As you can tell, I'm not wearing any makeup. I'm so excited because this cover, the second this book cover was released, or it dropped, like the book cover and the book title, I went insane. It's gorgeous, it's perfect for makeup, and I've been wanting to do this ever since it came out, but I was kind of a little bit in a slump, so I didn't finish it until the other day. But Gods and Monsters by Shelby Mahirin, the final installment of the Serpent and Dove trilogy. I finished it just yesterday. Holy shit, so much went down. I have so many thoughts and so many opinions, and this cover is absolutely stunning. Before we get started, I just wanted to ask you guys to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'm really close to 900 now. I'm only 12 away, so it'd be sick if you guys could just like get me there. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into this makeup review. Since I moved into a new apartment, I have a new setup for my videos, and I don't have a mirror like I used to. So this might be a little bit of a mess because I'm just gonna try to work with my little face mirrors and the camera. So might be a mess, but oh, and I got a new tattoo. It's a book tattoo, my favorite book in the entire world, and I'm gonna enter it right here so you guys can see it. Off of the Game, literally, it ruins my life and I'm insane, but I needed it tattooed on me. Like, it was pressing. I needed an Off of the Game Andrew Neil tattoo. Oh my god. But yeah, now it's done and I feel it being like purged from my body, like the need to do that. Anyways, Gods and Monsters, let's talk about it. So I want to preface this by saying that Gods and Monsters was one of my most anticipated reads of the year. Like, it was the most anticipated book of the year, honestly. Like, it's above like every other book that I was waiting for. And okay, so I rated it 4 stars, and I'll tell you guys why it wasn't a 5-star. And that's just because I feel like it dragged on a lot. Like, that is definitely a review that people had of Blood and Honey, and I didn't. I really thought Blood and Honey was like incredible and sad and so good. But Gods and Monsters, like, I don't know. It felt very, like, I don't know how to describe it. I don't want to be mean because I love this book series. So many things just kept happening. Like, one bad thing after the other, just like boom, 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 boom. And like, they just kept getting fixed like conveniently. And then I don't know, it just, I was like, this is just all very convenient, and it is a lot. Like, they had so many different problems instead of having one like singular plot. And also there was no like recounting of things that happened in the last book. And like, I probably didn't notice this in Blood and Honey because I read it as soon as I finished Serpent and Dove. So I didn't need like a recount of like a basic little like summation of what happened in Blood and Honey. But I had sort of forgotten like stuff that had happened, and I was so confused. I was like, what's going on? Because it's been a year since I read Serpent and Dove and Blood and Honey. Like, it's been a while. And like, it's probably my fault for not being more attentive to what was happening in the other books, but it took me like 100 pages to kind of remember what was going on. And like, she kept bringing in characters that I had forgotten like completely. Like, I didn't even remember they existed at all. And then there is Lou and Reed. Okay, So what we did get of Lou Reed in Gods and Monsters was incredible, like so good. And I might just be biased because they are one of my favorite book couples of all time, like absolutely obsessed, like definitely like top 5 book chips of all time. However, they got almost no scenes together until the last 100 pages probably. And this comes back again to all the problems, like all the different conflicts that they had. Like if you read Blood and Honey, you know the end of it, Lou is possessed by Nicolina and it's a big problem, and she's possessed by Nicolina for a good chunk of Gods and Monsters, maybe 200 pages. And then to save Lou from Morgaine, I'm gonna say that wrong the whole time because I have no idea how it's pronounced. To save her from Morgaine while she was fighting Nicolina's possession, Reed did a little alakazam, and the magic in this world obviously like is balanced. So he took Morgaine's memories of Lou, like took her memories of Lou completely. And that meant that he took all of his memories of Lou from himself. And that nonsense lasted for like 300 pages maybe. And that's literally one of the big plot lines, is Lou trying to trigger Reed's memory into remembering her. And okay, I'm gonna kind of describe it in detail, so if you don't want to know about this, just click out now. Like, he forgot Lou completely, like completely. He woke up from after he did that, like it knocked him out, and he woke up and he did not remember Lou at all. She made some jokes with him, introduced herself as Louise LeBlanc, like jokey joke, and he went insane and tackled her, and he had to be pulled off of her because he tried to kill her because he didn't remember her. He still believed he was a chasseur. He didn't know where his Balisardo was, and he was freaking out about it, and it was sucky. Parts of it are so insane. Like, okay, some of it is good. Like, some of it made the angst like really like delicious, and I was like, yes, give me more. But I feel like it got carried on for so long, like him just not remembering her, and it was kind of like choppy. Like, okay, he didn't remember her, right? And he hated her. He hated like being near her and looking at her and just her existing. But then he kind of like forgot that and like sort of remembered his feelings for her, which was really strange. And I guess he didn't really remember his feelings with her more than he wanted to remember them. And it just happened very suddenly. I feel if Shelby Mayurin had just made this the big like thing in the book, then it could have worked really, really well. It just felt like things happened so suddenly, and I don't even know. Like, especially with Lou being possessed by Nicolina, they were like, well, if she even comes back from this, her mind is going to be ruined. And then she did come back from it, and her mind wasn't ruined at all. Again, like, it just all felt very convenient, and like it's all really surface level fantasy. Like, I've definitely read fantasies with better, more like intricate plots that seem more thought out, but I again am reading this for Lou and Reed and their romance, because that is what I care about. I do not care about the plot at all. Like, I did do a little like gasp moments like a couple of times, like when Reed forgot Lou, when I went and I skipped ahead to see what he did, because he was like, I'll find you again, and then passed out because he took his memories of her. I skipped ahead and I looked and I was like, like, oh my god, I can't believe he did that. Shelby Mayurin is so evil and sick and the worst, and yeah. But it wasn't as good as it could have been. But I still gave it 4 stars because Lou and Reed are my everything, so. And also, I won't lie, the memory loss led to an incredible sex scene. If you're reading for some good sex scenes between Lou and Reed, there's 2. It takes a while to get to them, but there's 2, and one of them is absolutely insane and makes me like actually crazy. It was so good. And let's talk about things I liked from the book. Obviously, Lou Reed, like, they're what I read for, they're what everyone read for, even though I haven't seen very many people reading Gods and Monsters, so I'm kind of sad about that, but whatever. But also the way it deals with like grief and trauma is really nice, especially with Coco's character. It's like beautiful, like the way it's described, like her grief about Ansel, because that's what happened at the end of the last book, and they're like carrying that like sadness into Gods and Monsters, and it was just really incredible to see. Like, I loved reading about it, and like her relationship like with Bo, like she couldn't like do anything about it until she had like kind of dealt with her feelings for Ansel. And some fantasies get really boring because they're just so serious, but this is definitely not a serious like fantasy book at all. And if you've read Serpent and Dove and Blood and Honey, you already know what I mean. Like, it's very jokey, very fun and lighthearted for most of it. There are a few kind of sad scenes, definitely, but it's not a super tearjerker like other books that I've read. I wish it could have been more like sad. Like, I wanted that emotion from Lou and Reed, and we did get it on Lou's part a lot of the time, but not really Reed's, and that was because he didn't remember her for most of the book, so. But I also feel like the lightheartedness of it made it very readable. I also adored the found family of it all. Like, as you guys know, Serpent and Dove is very much found family because their families are less than ideal and they chose each other. Very incredible, love that. And it also ended really nicely with that found family, minus like one person, but like it makes the ending makes up for it in a way that I'm not gonna say for anyone that hasn't read it. Like, I want you guys to be surprised by it because I was, and I was like, oh my god, this is so fucking sad. The epilogue is definitely very sweet and like just very cute, and it wraps everything up like in a neat little bow, kind of, but I don't know, it just seems too easy. Like, I know it was the end of the series, but it just feels like there should be like another plot twist or like added mayhem or something like that. Like, I don't know. It just feels like it's not over. Like, I wish I had more, which is strange because the book was literally 600 pages and it took me 3 weeks to finish it because I'm a lazy asshole, but I don't know. It just didn't feel like it wrapped it up nicely. And I don't have any more questions, but it just feels too easy. And it's not really that easy either. Like, there was a war. And all that really matters to me is that Lou and Reed served, like, hard. So at the end of the day, I gave it 4 stars, even though it didn't really capture my attention until the very, very end, because that's when Lou and Reed, like, actually interacted, and I don't know. It hit at the end because of Lou and Reed. And like I always say, Lou and Reed is just like the Chanel version of Matthias and Nina from Six of Crows. Like, that's what it is. They're 1,000% better than Matthias and Nina, except in the show Matthias and Nina hit. So, and honestly, I kind of want like a Serpent and Dove movie series, maybe. Like, each one would fit like wonderfully into a movie. Like a TV series, I would hate it, but like a movie would be so good, especially for the first one. My one like fear though is that they would cast an ugly man, because Reed, as we all know, is a redhead, and that's like towing the line of attractiveness, being a redhead. Lou, they could cast any long-haired brunette and boom, you're ready to go. Like, they're all pretty, but a ginger man, I adore that they're soulmates who like don't want to be soulmates. Like, it hits so good. But yeah, overall it was definitely for me a 4-star read. I don't know about everyone else. I know after Blood and Honey, a lot of people kind of jumped off the Serpent and Dove train, but I stayed on the entire ride because I love Lou and Reed. They mean everything to me, and it was a nice little ending to the series. However, I'd have to say it definitely was not as good as the other 2 books in the series. But yeah, this is the final look for Gods and Monsters. So what I did was a like silver, like kind of pointed cat eye. It's very hard to tell because of the lighting that I have. It's very bright, so it's kind of difficult to see the shape of like the sort of cat eye I did. But I did white freckles because it's got like white like splattered, and that's like the color of the title on the side, and I just thought it needed like an extra pop. And then I did gold for the lips, and I did use pressed glitter for it, so it looks a little like, I don't know, like you can see the color beneath it because it's not fully covered with like a liquid, and it's just the pressed glitter that I also used for the eyes. This was kind of difficult. Like, you've got 2 like metallic colors, so you can't do like one eye look with just silver and gold. Like, it's impossible. So I just had to do the 2 of them like separately. But yeah, I love the way this came out, and yeah, that is it for this video. If you haven't read Serpent and Dove, I definitely recommend that you read this series. It is so good. Like, Serpent and Dove is top 3 books of all time. It's All for the Game. 1, it counts as 1 whole book. It's All for the Game. Why don't I remember? Ninth House is my 2nd favorite book of all time. Serpent and Dove, like just Serpent and Dove, not the rest of the trilogy, but Serpent and Dove. Like, that whole book got me. It's so fucking good. And then obviously you have to finish the series because of Lou and Reed. Like, they hook you, and no matter how bad this was, I would have kept going because Lou and Reed had me in the biggest of chokeholds. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, that is what I thought about Gods and Monsters, and yeah. I have no idea what kind of video I'm going to post next week. I'm getting so bad about posting like consistently, but I think that I'm gonna start doing that more because I've like settled into my apartment, and school starts soon, so I won't be like leaving or doing anything besides school. So I think next week, maybe best and worst book tropes. I'm kind of thinking I'm gonna do that, but we'll see. I've got a lot that I'm really excited to read. I have How We Fall Apart. Dark Academia. So excited. New release from this week. And I'm literally like dying to start it. And then I just read The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams, which was a romance, and I will talk more about that in my wrap up and TBR video at the end of the month. I've got The Hollow Heart, which comes out next month, that I'm really excited for. Aristotle and Dante Dive Into the Waters of the World, which I will be doing a makeup look for. I'm so excited. And just Carry On. I really want to start Carry On. Like, I want to know what the hype is about, so I definitely need to do that soon. But I've got like a whole plethora of things I need to read and I could make videos over, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I will see you guys next week. Bye.